us here for the Nonprofit Showcase Luncheon and Expo. As you can tell, this event is kind of, well, it's been an annual tradition now for the last few years of showcasing nonprofits over the last handful of years, and as you can tell, we've expanded this year and want to make sure we really highlight the importance of the nonprofits in our area. So I want to thank today's luncheon sponsor, GISA Credit Union, as well as our expo sponsor that really made this happen, and that's our Mayberry. And we have supporting sponsors as well too, with Lowe's that has provided us the nice poinsettias, and Minuteman Press helped us out with some printing here today, and we'll get into some more of that detail. So with that, I'd like to invite you to join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. So if we can take a moment up, stand up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please take a seat. So I failed to properly introduce myself as I started talking and jumping right in. I'm Colin Hastings. I'm the Executive Director of the Pasco Chamber of Commerce, and we're joined here today by a few elected officials, and I want to take a moment out to introduce them. First off, I'd like to introduce State Representative Bill Jankin from the 16th District. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Franklin County Commissioner Bob Cook, he's right in front here. Port Commissioner Jim Clindworth, right at the Port of Pasco table here. And I don't know if anybody else snuck in. Good, I think I got them all. Appreciate you guys joining us today. I also want to take a moment to thank all of our board members and past presidents of the Pasco Chamber of Commerce that are here in attendance today. And also wanted to take a moment out, and I'm not sure if he made it or not because I've been on this side of the room while everybody's been networking on the other side of the room, but we have a new member introduction, and that's Mick from Minuteman Press. Did Mick ever sneak in? If you did, raise your hand. Okay, he didn't. And I know that also as a last minute RSVP, and we didn't get a plaque for them yet, but Wheatland Insurance as well too. I know that they came in. I haven't had a chance to meet them, but they recently joined, and they're going to be in our Eastern Washington Ag Expo. So we'll get them at the next luncheon. So a little background on this event and how we ended up here. A few years ago, we thought it would be kind of neat for this time of season to really highlight the importance of the nonprofits in our area, and this holiday season is always, the best part of holiday seasons is giving as well too. And so we'd invite nonprofits up to give a 2-minute elevator speech, which is extremely hard to do if you've ever had to do that in front of a crowd. And that limited us on the time with our luncheon, where we only have an hour for our luncheon and really 30 minutes for our keynote presentation, and just was unfair to the point for the nonprofits to really give a spiel. Plus, because we only had a small amount of time, we had to turn away more and more nonprofits every year, and we wanted to make sure we give them a platform to really engage with the community. So with the help of GISA and Marisol and Angie and our Mayberry, we had this grand idea. Let's have an expo, and let's center it on so that we provide the nonprofits an easy access way to do that. So with their help and their generous sponsorships, we didn't have to charge our exhibitors or our nonprofits to come exhibit with us today, as well as providing them lunch as well too, because we want to maximize through this effort donations and giving, and again, that's where GISA comes in quite a bit, and so we're hoping that as we continue on this annual tradition, we'll have more and more nonprofits here, and we get some really good speakers. We have a great speaker today, but a few items in terms of how this expo will work. So it's not ending after our lunch. We're hoping to end our luncheon program early. It'll give you an opportunity to continue your networking, and also to see on your table, all your place settings, there's a list of the nonprofits. Most of the nonprofits that were here, I think there are some that we weren't able to get on here as we wanted to get the printing done. But if you see at the bottom too, there's $10 in GISA bucks. So we want you to take this little perforated piece off after our luncheon and go through and find one of your organizations here. And this is part and parcel to add in addition to your donations to that nonprofit. So it's $10 here. And we have those that are in front, but I also have a stack here. And Gisa said, go right ahead. Let's go ahead and give them all away so that they are able to maximize their donation as well as that. So let's give them a round of applause for doing that. If you also didn't have a chance to get the passport as well too, we have those at the front desk. We're encouraging all of our attendees to go through and say hi to our Pasco Chamber members that are exhibiting too. That will go into a raffle drawing, and the winner of that will get a $50 gift certificate too, a Visa gift card. So with that, I think we'll figure out a way to how to dole these out, but we also have those on your table. If you have any sort of questions afterwards, please find myself or Allie or Ellie or Marilyn. We encourage you to, when you give your donation at your nonprofits to fill out the paperwork, because we want to make sure we help capture that information so they can give you a thank you card, and we can really tout how much this event has grown by the generosity of everybody here. Okay, I think that covers it on our expo. I do want to take a moment to let you know of a couple upcoming events too with our Eastern Washington Ag Show and our Ag Hall of Fame. It's coming right around the corner. I mean, we're kind of condensing everything in this week because we know that Christmas is coming. And so you'll hear later today or tomorrow the announcement of our Ag Hall of Fame inductees. We're really excited with the slate of new Ag Hall of Famers coming up. And that event's here in the Red Lion, January 16th. We have great sponsors that help support that event as well. And I'm looking at a table of them right here with the Port of Pasco. They've been supporting this event for 20 years. We're actually in our 20th year for the Ag Hall of Fame, and it's really one of these neat events. If you haven't had a chance to come, I encourage you to do it. I've been told by multiple people that have attended that this is one of those events that has the most heart in the Tri-Cities, so we're real excited for continuing on that tradition. The week prior to that is our Eastern Washington Ag Expo. It's over at the Hapo Center, which is formerly TRAC, and that's on January 9th and 10th this year. So just of note, the 10th is a Friday, and that's where we're going to have the lunch. And it seems like lately the Pasco Chamber has been messing with everybody's schedules and not having our typical second Monday of the month luncheon. So we're going to do that to you again in January, but then we'll get back on track in February. So, but thank you again so much for showing up, supporting your community, supporting the nonprofits. And as I mentioned again, this is the best part of the season is giving. So I encourage you to go over and talk to all these nonprofits and learn a little bit something about our community. So with that, I'm going to hand the program over to Joe Roach. He is the 2019-20. We're going to have to start saying that and getting that right on all the stuff here in the next few days. Our 2019-2020 Chamber President, and he'll take us through the rest of the program. Thank you.
I have to lower this. Good afternoon, everybody. I get to introduce the keynote presentation today, Mr. Shawn Tacey from R. Mayberry. Mr. Tacey is the CEO and co-founder of R. Mayberry. He's also the managing partner of Tacey Law Group in Bellevue, Washington. He has extensive experience in counseling both startups as well as mature companies as to the legal and capital structures, property matters, transactions, creditors and debtors, relations, and dispute resolution. Shawn has considerable experience in structuring international transactions, having represented clients in negotiations and throughout the continental United States, Canada, the Netherlands, Japan, China, Singapore, Dubai, Bahamas, and Panama. Mr. Tacey received his Bachelor's of Art in Political Science from the University of Arizona and his Juris Doctorate from the University of Washington School of Law. Mr. Tacey is also the head women's coach, soccer coach for the Crossfire Select Youth Soccer Club. Mr. Tacey, please come on. Thank you.
assuming the middle button.
Or to the right, yeah. There you go. Got it figured out.
I almost said, whoa, all right. Back away from the mic a little bit. Just to complete my bio, my favorite color is black. I like to eat steak with a side of steak. And no, it's funny, when you put all that stuff on the web, you never know how it's going to sound being repeated back to you. So I appreciate that. I think I might edit a bit. Because after I heard it, I realized, wow, what does a transaction lawyer have to do with ushering in a new economy or, speaking at a nonprofit summit? But really, it's my experiences through counseling small businesses and being a small business owner myself that I kept on, the last 10 years, I've been trying to think of a different way. Is there a better way to do business together within our local communities? And today really warms my heart because what we see here in this room is the next evolution in our economy. It's the next evolution in community engagement. It's not just putting businesses and nonprofits in the same room together, but it's actually integrating them in business. And that's the next step that I want to talk to you about today. Because right now, our world is being reshaped by the convergence of some serious forces, namely social, how do we connect with one another? Technology, the advent of the smartphone has really transformed our world, as well as economics, how we do business together, how we view economic structures, and then also how we communicate online and offline. And if we pause for a second and take a look at these forces and how they're converging, there's an opportunity to reconnect them in a way that could empower our local economies and our communities like no other time in history. And that's why we call it the power and influence of digitally connected local economies. Because for now, we're somewhat estranged. Locally, we will shop online with businesses outside of our local communities. A lot of times, the nonprofits with the best marketing online will get the most donations. But if we can digitally connect our local communities in a new community style of engagement, now we can begin ushering in one of the greatest eras for small businesses in taking care of local needs that we've seen in a long time. But to know where we're going and how we're going to get there, we kind of need to just talk briefly through how everything has changed through technology. Technology has really changed consumers, and they're evolving. And everyone in this room is first a consumer, correct? Right? So I think this will appeal to, every one of these slides will appeal to all of you, guarantee it. I'm just kidding. But I love this slide because a lot of times we don't know what technology has done to us. The whole idea of the internet was to make our lives better in so many ways. But for consumers, if you think about 30 years ago, if you wanted to go buy a car, you'd have to go, if you wanted information about that car, you'd have to go buy a Car and Driver magazine to learn about it. Or you'd have to go to the dealership to learn about it. So all of the power in a purchase transaction was with the seller. And the internet transformed all of that by putting information online to help consumers make better decisions. But that information was disorganized. So then came along search. You guys know what search engines are? Yeah. But Google won out because Google had a better search engine that could take our inquiry and bring back a very logical, very pertinent set of results that allowed us to be even quicker and more demanding with the information that we wanted. Once we had the information we wanted to buy it. We wanted to execute. And all of a sudden, buying online became fun. It became addictive. And as we were connected more online, we then wanted to start providing feedback. Anyone heard of Yelp? Yeah? Yelp for most small businesses is the bane of their existence. But feedback was the next level of engagement that consumers wanted with business. Really, how many of you believe that your consumers want you to get better at what you do? I surveyed 10,000 of them, and they want you to get better at what you do so they can buy from you more. So the feedback was a good idea. It's just the consumers wanting a higher level of engagement with the businesses that they transact with. And this leads us to the last evolution from technology, and is now consumers want to participate with you in doing good in your local communities. Does that strike you as surprising? Yes, no? Yeah. No, there's a radical change that is happening in our marketplace where consumers really, really want to engage with their businesses to solve problems together. And more importantly, they want to work with businesses that actually care about the things they care about. So a very heightened level of engagement. For businesses, it's much more complicated, right? Everything good for consumers is bad for businesses, especially for small businesses. It has been said that technology left small businesses behind. And in some regards, it did, but it didn't make your life easier, that's for sure. Because you have three radically different generations that you have to appeal to. The boomers, the Gen Xers, and then this last group, millennials, who I combine with the Z generation, so I call them millennial Zs. But they are all crazy when it comes to shopping because there's some fun facts about boomers, one of which I should probably not say. But the boomers are the second most adaptive generation to technology. Gen X is third, first is millennials. But they're all very different. They all have very different buying styles, buying needs, buying philosophies. But you have to reach all three of them. And then purchasing completely changed, right? Online, offline, delivery, Uber, it's constant in how your customers are trying to get you to engage them to meet every one of their fickle needs. And then communication. How many wish you could go back to the days where you bought your Yellow Page ad and just went back to work? All right, wasn't those some great times? Now, you didn't know if it worked at all, but sure was easier. And now it's Facebook, Instagram. Some of you guys who have adopted to this communication platform should be applauded because each one of these platforms is a different ecosystem in themselves. And then this last bit of complexity is that not only do consumers want you to be good at what you do and communicate with them in every fragmented form of communication, they also want you to put quality first. Fairness, transparency. They want philanthropy. They want you to be socially responsible. So none of this has made life easier for businesses. Now, where I'm going with all of this is that to understand the opportunity that's coming that I'm going to tell you about, you just got to understand how we all got here. So consumers are now at this point where they have all the power and they want to have a higher level engagement with businesses. Business owners, small business owners are struggling, right? It's a day-to-day combat fight in order to make a living as a small business owner. But as a whole, everyone is becoming jaded with the broken promises of the web. And originally, it was supposed to make life easier. And it was supposed to make us connected better. And then it was supposed to make our lives even better. And in some aspects, that is true, but what we see is that what we got instead is that customers received misinformation. And then that led to tracking and creeping. Do you know what creeping is? It's when someone's watching you and you don't know they're watching you. But tracking and creeping, that's what happened. Once we fell in love with search, Google, right, can follow you and track you wherever you go. And once they got that data, it was like a kid in a candy store. They had to do something with that data. So they traffic your data. We call that consumer trafficking. Remember, these are all things that we don't like, but this is what the web gave us. And when they have that kind of information on you, they can create a artificial intelligence avatar of you on the internet. And then what they begin to do is isolate you by showing you the web that they want to show you. I'll give you an example. If you and I typed in the same inquiry, what about soccer in Pasco? You will get a completely different set of results than I will from Google. Okay, because they are shaping your world according to what they think they want you or what they think you want, which leads to manipulation. So where the internet is now is it's more about manipulating your experience to change your behaviors, change your habits, and they are as good as you can possibly imagine. And so that's what customers got, and guess what? They don't like it. Do you like that? Do you like someone not only predicting your behavior, but manipulating it? Well, welcome to the internet, okay? Businesses got fragmented markets. They also received increase in expense in marketing, and also they're working harder than ever and making less money. And worse than that, as a small business owner myself, it is the uncertainty of where my next customer is coming from. And now I'm working harder and harder to try to create some type of sustainability in our businesses so that we can focus on, it's hard, let me put it this way, it's hard to focus on community development and supporting, your local comrades in your local economy when you're always worried about where your next customer is coming from. But that's what the internet gave us. Even worse, though, is the fact that the internet has fleeced our local economies. And this is the one that, until you see the numbers, you don't know how bad things have gotten to understand how great the opportunity that's coming. The magnitude of how our local economies have been fleeced is that money spent locally, 67 cents of every dollar gets reinvested back in your community. 0 cents of any online purchase outside of your community, right, is ever returned to your local communities or reinvested. So, it's 2/3 of every dollar versus nothing. So whenever we make a purchase online, right, it affects your local economy. That money never comes back. That wasn't the way it was 15 years ago before the advent of the smartphone and the commercial use of the internet. And maybe 20 years, I'm dating myself. Give you an example of the impact of how the internet has fleeced our local economies is just this number alone, which I haven't showed you yet. It's clouded in secrecy. I'll get it. Just give me a sec. So social media advertising, this is money spent by small businesses to advertise on social media, whether it's Facebook, Google, Foursquare, Instagram. And you guys see the moated city right there? That represents Pasco and the Tri-Cities. And then you see Silicon Valley over there. That's when everyone goes, ooh, right? Okay. But all of the money spent on social media advertising goes to Silicon Valley, and $48 billion was spent on social media advertising by small businesses in the United States. That is the same amount of money that was spent locally on radio ads, direct mail. All of that money usually spent billboard ads. All that money always went back to our local communities. Now it goes to Silicon Valley and it never comes back. So the internet has kind of broken some promises. Consumers are changing where they're becoming more value-centric. And a lot of this has to do with some critiques of capitalism. And the critiques of capitalism is that it's kind of lost its way. And here's a lot of what consumers think about capitalism. They think that it represents taking but not giving, which means you're interested in making money but not giving back to social needs. Harvesting but not sustaining, which means that you don't take care in how you source and manufacture your goods. Talking but not listening, which means that you ignore your shareholders and the values that they represent. There's a huge uprise in shareholder litigation because businesses are not taking up the imperative of giving back and doing good. And so shareholders are constantly trying to get corporations to turn the corner and having to sue those corporations because they're so stuck on this left-hand side of talking but not listening. And then generating wealth but not sharing. And this has to do with the huge disparity in owners of businesses that, benefit greatly from their employees but do not help generate wealth for everyone that works for them. And these aren't necessarily my critiques of capitalism. This is what consumers are critiquing capitalism with. Which brings us to, who are these consumers that I keep talking about? And we have our Gen X, that's me. I still live in my mom's basement. 76 million boomers, that's my mom and dad, who are living with in their mom's basement. And then there's these folks, and 130 million millennial Zs. And it's these folks that I want to talk about, because these are your new customers, not future customers, new customers. These folks, this generation is larger than the prior two combined. So it's a big number. I call it the great generation hope, because these millennials realize that they have the power. There's an old adage that he who holds the gold rules, and holding the gold means purchasing power, consuming power. And this group is the largest group of consumers that we've ever had in our country. And so much is riding on them, not only how they spend their money, but the decisions that they make. And the internet, with how communication has changed, it has made these consumers very socially conscious, and there's an amazing amount of empathy in our culture right now. And there's an amazing amount of conviction. So these are the type of I want to call them kids because they're younger than me, but they're the type of kids that will go without to buy something that they want from someone that they believe in. These are the type of consumers that will pay more for a product that is made according to the value system that I showed you earlier. And they come in two different forms, eco shoppers and cause shoppers. Eco means, I shop from folks who are taking steps to be responsible to our environment, right? And then the cause shoppers is every purchase that I make as a consumer, I want it to count for good, right? I want my money to have a redemptive purpose. And so as a result, these consumers prefer to shop local or from brands that promote themselves and their values to be socially conscious. Their behavior is dictated by an alignment of values, not deals. They like quality over quantity. They like doing what is right over a good deal. And lastly, they perceive buying local as equaling sustainable. I gotta say that again, it's so good. Buying local from you equals sustainable, right? And so let me put that another way. Buying local becomes the right choice. Buying local becomes the only choice. And here's why. 84%, this comes from Mental Research. It's a PR firm that really studies generational behaviors and try to figure out what's the motives behind consumers from generation to generation. And here they did a huge sampling, and they asked the consumers, how many of you believe that businesses should support local causes? And 84% of them said it's mandatory that they support local causes. And then they asked them, would you switch brands from a company that didn't support causes to a company that does support causes? 50% said that they would switch brands, which indicates that consumers they're not brand loyal. They're loyal to values. It's a big shift. It's a transformative shift in how the economy is going to be shaped for the next, probably forever. I can't imagine us going back from a values-based type economy, which is what this is showing to be. 61% said that they would switch brands between a company that didn't support causes to a company that support a cause that they like. So just note that I'll switch brands if you care about something. But 61% said, I'll switch brands if you care about something I like. Right? This is, if I like Nike and I don't like what they support, I'll switch to Reebok. And I'll never come back. Did I say Reebok? Are they even still making shoes? Maybe they should. And this is something I found really interesting too. 65% says that they want businesses to proclaim their values at the outset. They want you to walk the talk, and they want you to say it up front. So this is striking because this is a complete change in our economy. If you remember, the internet blessed us with the race to the bottom, lowest prices. Who here loves competing on lowest prices? You like competing on lowest prices? No, as a business owner. As a business owner, do you like competing on lowest prices? Now, don't get me wrong, us Gen Xers, we're all about low prices. Boomers well, their buying habits completely changed now because they're not spending as much as they used to. But yeah, Gen Xers, we like the cheap deals, but these Millennial Zs, they don't like the race for the bottom. They see it as inherently bad for the earth, bad for social harmony, and ultimately just bad for them. Because a good deal means that somewhere down the line, someone had to pay a price for that. And that's a price that they don't want to pay anymore. So what do these folks want from the businesses that they are going to transact with? And as I go through this, I want you to tell me what that reminds you of, okay? Because I'm building a resume of who they want to do business with, okay? They want to do business with people who are honorable in their business practice. That they treat the earth and their employees well. They're good at what they do. They're honest and humble, and as a result of that, their customers will be forgiving when they make a mistake. They care about their customers and what their customers want, and they partner with their customers in doing good. Who has the ability to do that? Small business, absolutely. And when you give, they'll help you grow. See, there's an interrelationship now between giving and growing. And it's a transformative shift in how you view doing business. You have to give to live. You have to give to grow. And the model of how we operate business has changed drastically because of this. Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce.com, said this about where we find ourselves in our marketplace as small businesses. He says, doing well by doing good is no longer a competitive advantage. It's an imperative to business. So you see a lot right now, people who are doing these various social campaigns, like buy a pair of socks and we'll give a pair of socks to someone. All of that is to create a competitive advantage in the marketplace. It's how you sell your product and get known by starting off with something that's socially conscious. And it's highly prolific. It works. But what he's saying is you can't do it just to get business. You have to do it because that will be the measure of whether or not anyone will do business with you. So if you're a business owner and you don't care, you will no longer be a business owner. That's where this is headed. So who has the advantage? Let's talk about the old model. These two slides are my favorite slides. I think I could have just truncated this whole thing based on these two slides, and we'd be over there hanging out with our nonprofit friends. But the old model is first priority, grow your business. Second, make a profit. And third is then innovate and continue to market. Businesses grow by two ways under the old model: innovation and marketing, right? You can innovate new products and you have to communicate about it. Under the new model, you grow by giving back. You make a profit through promoting the public good. And you innovate by making the world a better place. You guys see that? That's not my model, that's the new model. Okay, so a lot of times, if we go back to this slide back here, this is how we've been operating as small business owners. And with the race to the bottom, where we were all competing for the lowest prices, it was all about grow, make a profit, and then innovate. We didn't have time or margins to give back. But now here we go. But now we grow by giving back, and we make a profit through promoting the public good, and we innovate by making the world a better place. This is the love language of those 130 million kids. This is the litmus test of whether or not they want to do business with you. So as a result, what we're seeing is a call for a change to capitalism, or maybe a restoration of capitalism, which is capitalism with a purpose. In other words, we allow the free markets to create wealth, and then that wealth is then reinvested in our local communities. But we see it as an opportunity to do business in cause-based partnerships. In cause-based partnerships is where we actually integrate business and causes and how we actually transact business. For the longest time, all of the pieces of an integrated cause-based economy have been in the same room, but not talking to each other. So just like here, in the same room, we have nonprofits and businesses. And the only way they talk to each other is, can you give me a sponsorship, right? And business owners always give you a sponsorship. Do you know why? Because they care, right? They care about you. They care about, solving local community problems. But rarely, and the second reason why they do sponsorships is that they're hoping that someone will recognize the good that they do and maybe visit or frequent them and become a customer. The small businesses give in order to hopefully start a relationship with you. And where capitalism is going in our market system is that consumers want a more integrated relationship. They want to partner with you in doing good, where they're saying, hey, I will buy from you if you and I can go solve homelessness in Pasco. I will buy from you if we can develop a better dog rescue so that, I can feel much better about, at night when I'm sleeping, that there's no dogs running around around my neighborhood freezing to death. But whatever the cause, they want to integrate. They want to do business together in a way that you get business and we solve community problems together. So so social capital, have you guys ever heard of social capital? So social capital is what all of those nonprofit vendors have. And it is becoming the strongest influencers in our economy and our marketplace. Social capital is when you get a group of people who share the same values and they have convictions to act on them. Whether it's a soccer club, or whether or not it's animal rescue, whether it's not providing health care for those who can't afford it, whatever it is, groups of people who are almost radically joined to do things together to support that cause. And that is a significant influence in our world today, and it's growing because of the changes in how consumers view doing business with business owners. So social capital actually equals economic capital in the new marketplace. Because in a cause-based economy, these consumers are not slowed down or manipulated by the tricks of the web. Instead, they can only be influenced by their values and their convictions. And so who has the greatest influence over these consumers? Do you know? All of those vendors back there, all of those nonprofits, it's the causes themselves. The causes are growing in such great social capital that they're now looking for ways to convert that social capital into economic capital. And so what social causes are doing is that they are using that base of supporters as an asset in order to create cause-based partnerships with business owners where those folks are asked to go participate transactions with the supporting businesses. In response, the supporting businesses contribute a percentage of that transaction back to the cause, right? So so I always look at it like an Uber. The brilliance of Uber is that they took assets that were idle, sitting in a driveway, and put them into service. Whether it was a car, and then it was a human's time that he or she had available to her. Both of those assets got put into service in order to provide an economic return to the owner of that car. Nonprofits and their groups of supporters is their greatest asset, sitting idle, right? Sitting idle in the parking stall, waiting to be put into service. And what consumers are saying, put us into service. Put us into a marketplace where we can buy from supporting businesses, right? And we will change our purchase behaviors. We will buy more frequently if you connect us in a marketplace where we're aligned with in values between the cause, the business owner, and the consumers. And the big reason is donations are down 1.8%. Now, does that sound like a small number or a big number? Individual donations. So all of us in the room are donating 1.8% less. Do you know what that equates to? $300 billion. So in 2018, our causes in the back of the room were part of that, $300 billion left the cause marketplace. And as a result, we cannot sustain societal needs through donation alone. And our needs are increasing at a rate that we can't meet by donations alone. And these social groups are extremely powerful because they recognize so here's the problem. Every time, especially if anyone have high school kids? Got high school kids? Well, when you got high school kids, you feel like every booster, every club, every need's got their hand in your pockets, fighting for that last $100. And what everyone is feeling is that there's not enough money left over to give away. And they want to find another way to be able to spend with a purpose. Let me use my consumer capital to be able to create a benefit for causes. And so as groups, they're highly motivated to spend their money with purpose as directed by the social causes that they are a part of. And then as a result of that, they're extremely loyal to the supporting businesses. So this change in the economy is coming as a result of a lack of money being in the marketplace through individual donations, and the consumer wanting to partner with businesses and doing good through the power of their transactions, right? Use transactional-based fundraising in addition to donor fundraising, and you create a sustainable method to fund not just the needs that we have now, but the needs that we're gonna have in the future. So to thrive in the new economy, business must enter cause-based partnerships. So how do you compete in this new marketplace? Well, you are already perceived as having, as being the answer to sustainability and doing good. So right out of the gate, you're seen as the answer to the consumer's questions. You're seen as giving back to the local community more than any other entity. You're also seen as being vested in the community. Also, they believe that you're transparent because if you live in the community, you can't poison the water that you drink, right? So this is how by definition, local businesses fit the values of the new customer. And you're accountable, especially if you're a part of a chamber like this. You are selling to people that you are also in community with, so you have to be more accountable than the large big tech or corporations that consumers have fallen out of love with. So who has the advantage in this new marketplace? Well, as you can see, I'm here to tell you that you do. Large corporations and big tech cannot meet the needs of the new consumer. You guys can in a way that you've never had an opportunity like this before. The opportunity has presented itself. The question is, how do you execute? I love this quote because it says, I don't believe, this is Mark Benioff again, I don't believe you can be a leader in your industry without being a leader in your community. It's a fundamental shift in how you think about business. This, to me, is a shout out for chambers of commerce. Can I get a shout out? Where's Sweat? Yeah, this is why you pay your dues, man. The chambers are the outpost of community in business. Chambers is where we actually get together to try to solve problems. I was talking with the president of the Bellevue Chamber, and he said, if we're not solving problems when we get together, then what are we getting together for, right? Chambers are going to also take on a new role in our lives because they're going to be the leaders in integrating this economy, bringing causes and businesses together in order to use transactional fundraising to solve problems. And here he's saying that you can't be a leader in your industry unless you're a leader in your community. Now, is Arthur Blank, the CEO of Home Depot, a leader in this community? No, he's not even here. Is Art here? Art, did you come in? Sorry, missed you. You know, Jeff Bezos, is he here right now? Has he ever been here? So in the values of the new consumer, they're saying that in order for you to earn my business, you have to be a leader in your community. Advantage small business owner, yeah? So your new challenges then is how do I connect with these consumers and the causes that they love? How do I choose, or do I let them choose? In other words, do I choose the cause or do I let them choose? How does it work? How do I give back, right? Other than a sponsorship, I'm telling you, you have to integrate yourself into a cause-based partnership, but how? How do you do it? And then how do you prove that you care? You know, how do you prove through your actions that you actually care about what your customers care about? And then where do I connect with them? And here, action equals communication. People want to see you act before you talk. In other words, let your actions speak for themselves. You guys ever tell your kids that? Yeah, it's the same in business now, which is great. It means we're integrating into a more holistic, value-based society. So we need to replace advertising with action. So how do you execute on this business opportunity? This is what our Mayberry is all about. Our Mayberry is the first cause-based partnership marketplace where any nonprofit or any cause, you don't have to be a nonprofit, because we believe that there's someone who may have an answer to a solution that doesn't have time to form a 501c3 and be investigated and audited by the IRS. Okay, if you've ever been through that process, I have. Not the audit part, but waiting a year to do good with a 501c3 designation. But I want causes, the whole idea is that if your neighbor's house burns down, yeah, you can go do a GoFundMe page where it's donor-based, right? But you're fighting over the same $100 as everyone else. But on Mayberry, you could set up a cause-based marketplace to support rebuilding that neighbor's house, invite businesses into the campaign marketplace, transact business, and raise money to help that person rebuild their house. So again, this is a handmade to donor base, but we're all fighting over the same $100. Transaction base is unlimited. Unlimited. And it's unstoppable once you can connect the parties into one platform. And we would like to encourage you to learn more about how we have connected them as a very innovative platform that takes advantage of this special time in our economic history. Happy to take any questions. Yeah.
So, Amazon doesn't appear to be a break. I mean, they're still an economic powerhouse, but is that matching up with what, because people will say one thing, but they'll do another, right? They'll say, I want to support a cause, but they're going to buy based on price. So, does it totally match up?
Well, it depends on what generation you're talking about. So the
Generation is getting bigger, millennials, the buying power is increasing, but the amount of money going to charity as donations is decreasing. And, and Amazon is growing. Can we mention that there's some of that millennial and Gen Z that is that is for Gen X,
Oh, sure, and it could be product specific, right? It could be electronics. We don't know. What I do know about Amazon is that it represents less than 4% of the businesses in the United States. And you can't buy a car on Amazon, but you can on Mayberry. You can't pay your legal bill. Don't you think lawyers care about causes, right? But you can't, we're trying. We're trying. No, so we seem to think of Amazon as the only place to shop, but it's commodity based. They only sell things. They don't sell services. And so they're not even touching upon half of the marketplace as it relates to purchases that are happening every day. So Amazon is somewhat limited in that regard. And so millennials, sorry. But also there hasn't been a competitor to Amazon that would allow people to make choices in cause-based partnerships. Amazon has Smile. You ever heard of Amazon Smile? Well, with Amazon, the businesses have no choice what they support. And it's not clear to the consumer who's actually paying for that contribution. Is it part of the purchase price? Is it being added in addition to? And consumers can't support any cause. They can only support the 501c3s approved by Amazon. And they leave out, again, half of the businesses that want to participate in a cause-based partnership. And that's the big opportunity. It's not to kill Amazon. People are always going to buy stuff on Amazon until there's an alternative that meets their needs and their values in a greater way. Yep.
Well, it seems like that there might be a change of how baby boomers do their businesses and how they get money. Because a lot of this, what you're talking about, is that you want to let everybody know what you're getting. But a lot of people feel uncomfortable and think of it as being right or whatever happens. And that's a transition to a lot of businesses. Because basically the only way that the public knows that you're being socially whatever is by you telling them that you
Or
know all of the things that you do. I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying that it's a change.
in value, it's a change in it's like an inversion of modesty, right? Because I give, but I want to do anonymously. There's so in our platform, you can buy it. You can't buy anonymously with the if I'm a consumer on our platform, I have to buy. I'm a known person when I buy from a business on our platform because you have to go through all your know your customer rules for credit card transaction payments. But I can be anonymous to my campaign that I'm supporting. In other words, I can choose to say that as a consumer, I support this cause, but the amount of money that I'm providing to them through my transaction, it can be anonymous. On the business side, we provide the businesses with information that they alone can use to communicate to the world the causes that they're supporting, how much money that they have raised through their contributions. But it's more of the action that I'm talking about in supporting community causes is being on a platform like Mayberry itself. Being on a cause-based platform that says we're here to partner with our consumers in doing good together is the first act that I think business owners will benefit from. Then the second is dropping into a campaign and supporting that campaign through its products and services for a period of time. And so at the end of the year, the business can say, send out a newsletter or a what's constant contact? Campaign saying, hey, here's all of the causes that we supported this year through our Mayberry, and then this is the total amount contributed over all of them, right? And I think for businesses, that's a narrative that they want. They want to be able to to be transparent and to show the causes that they support, how much money that they've contributed through donations and through transactional-based fundraising. Because it's the love language of the future of the economy. It is, we do well, and then we basically do good together. Yep.
So I appreciate you coming out to tell us about your company, which, if you haven't had a chance to look yet, you're not launched yet. So,
right.
And you're going to. So how do we, as business owners and nonprofits, engage when it's time to really get going?
Right. So thank you for asking that. So we are launching at the end of January, and one of our goals in launching is to seed the platform with as many causes as possible, big and small. And to sign up as a charity or a cause, it's free, and it's always free to causes and charities. We have this rule that the money that's generated through transactional-based fundraising can't ever be tainted. It can't ever, people can't take from it or benefit from it except for the cause. So we have this, permanent law in place that causes and charities, join for free. They receive the benefits for free. They can use all of our tools for free in order to promote their campaign. And the tools are very dynamic. What we do is we leverage all of that communication challenges in a way that promotes the good that can be done for your campaign on Mayberry. So I love the canopy of communications that we've created through tech. Now it's time to redeem it for good. Use it, use the power of it to actually generate as much good as possible. So we want as many campaigns to show, to sign up and start building out their campaigns and starting to use the tools that we have to invite their supporter base to not only join the campaign, but also what we do is it's kind of a gamification where the supporters can list out all of their favorite businesses that they would love to be in the campaign marketplace. So think about this, every campaign can create their own custom mall that they can go and support and buy from, and at the same time raise money for their favorite cause. So when you set up a campaign on Mayberry, your campaign marketplace is strictly yours. So when people come into it, everything they buy supports your campaign. So we want to load it with as many campaigns as possible. And once the supporter base is in, it's a lot easier to tell businesses to join you. So imagine this, instead of calling the business and say, hey, are you going to write that sponsorship check for $5,000? You add to it and join our campaign marketplace, where we're going to tell 4,000 of our supporters to visit your business as much as possible for 90 days. It's a much more powerful proposition for the business owner. A big deal for businesses is that businesses set their contribution. No one tells the business owner how much to give. The business owner can change her mind anytime she wants. So let's say she wants to contribute 2% off of every transaction. Or let's say she wants 2% on this product and 5% on this product because the margin's higher. Or let's say she wants it to be only for a week. We give business owners complete control when they opt into a campaign and when they want to opt out. So the whole idea is that we want you to be able to have complete control and freedom over your partnership with campaigns and how much you can give, because things change. And the one thing as a small business owner, I hate being locked into stuff. Here's a 1-year commitment. And then it's not working for you, and then you just carry that expense for a whole year, and you build up a grudge, and then next thing you know, you hate everyone. It's kind of tough. So we've designed Mayberry to give small businesses absolute freedom I call it the freedom to associate and the freedom to disassociate without anyone messing with them. So the things about the internet that I don't like is creeping and tracking on Mayberry. Associate, be together, and then, you don't want to support that campaign anymore? Opt out. And it's all done simply on the back end of our platform. So it's designed to quickly create these marketplaces and support causes, and you can drop in and support as many causes as you want. But we'd like to sign up all the causes as we could today, and then small business owners, their profile would be great to sign up, because as soon as they sign up, they'll be invited into causes and introduced to thousands of customers. And so the whole idea is that if I drive thousands of customers to you, I'm assuming that's a good thing. Yeah, and that's what the causes do. Go ahead. Yep. Is there what? Yeah. So to join is free, and to build out your profile is free. And then if you opt in to participate into a campaign, so let's say you receive an invitation on the platform to join Tri-City Soccer, and you click accept. If there's, as soon as you have access to 100 customers or more, you pay $100 a month while you're in that campaign. If you join campaigns where you have 250 customers or more, you pay $200 a month. Or you can pay $300 a month and have access to as many campaigns and causes as you want. That's the cost. So essentially, if you get 100 customers through joining a campaign, it's $1 per customer that you have direct access to, and you can communicate to them. You can offer deals to them. What I love about our platform is that we, as businesses, we always have dead time. As lawyers, we have dead hours. Well, I would rather give those hours away or sell them at a discount just to use up my inventory. Well, I could offer a deal on Mayberry where, let's say I do a whole bunch of wills that, at a discount. At least I'm using up my inventory, and I can offer that deal to the people that are partnering with me in the causes. So lots of opportunity to manage your business in inventory and opportunities that you might have through the platform. So, but the only cost for businesses is either $100 a month, $200 a month, or $300 for unlimited. And as soon as you opt out of the campaigns where your access to customers is less than 100, you are automatically not charged for anything. So you don't have to call us, you don't have to fax us, you don't have to call your congressman to get out of it. You control at all times whether you're paying or you're not paying. So it works for you or it doesn't. Sometimes you join a campaign and the group of buyers just doesn't fit your business profile. Great, opt out, find another one. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a great presentation. So the last bit of business here is the door prize from Gisa Credit Union. Yeah. Okay. First one's for a bottle of wine. Gracie from Pasco School District. And this is for the gift basket. Derek from Community First. Thank you everybody for coming out. Don't forget about the Eastern Ag Expo luncheon, January 10th. At the Hapo Center, formerly TRAC, and please visit the booths on your way out. Anything else?
And yeah, use the donors, the money.
Oh, and don't forget to use your donor box from Gisa. Thank you, everybody.